City go to Fulham, Aston Villa in 6 go to Manchester United, 4th place Newcastle face Everton, and 2 of the clubs going for Europe face each other, as you already mentioned, Tim. 7th place Nottingham Forest host Chelsea in 5th. We're going to hear from Blues boss Enzo Maresca ahead of that match. But first, here's Forest manager Nuno Espirito Santo.
There's no big difference from the first game of the season. The pressure doesn't help you. That's why we insist that we have to enjoy what we do. The player must be on the pitch enjoying, not thinking about the pressure, not thinking about the perceptions and the ifs and if this is going to happen. This distracts you. So we take away that part and play the game. Since the beginning of the season is being like that.
Probably also show how difficult it is, the Premier League, so many teams involved. The one that they have been consistent has been Liverpool, and this is the reason why they won the Premier. I think all the rest we had during the season a little bit up and down moment, and this is the reason why we are there. But we are happy to be there and try to finish in the best way.
The advantage that Chelsea have in this game is that they have their fate in their own hands.
Yeah, that's the good news. The bad news is that if you look at the season as a whole, they took 18 points from their first 24 away from home. Since then, 6 points from 30. They've been awful away from Stamford Bridge, and they're going to a Forest side that have got a win in their last game. The confidence will be back going into this final game, and the mood, the atmosphere at City Ground. I mean, you being a player, so you can speak better to how that mood buoys players on and affects opposition players.
None more so than tomorrow. With this huge prize ahead of them, and they've done brilliantly against the top teams this season at home. From the start of the season to now, they just need to finish it off. They're not excellent, Chelsea, by any means. They've got very expensive players, but that means nothing. It's all about, can the team beat the best players? The best players will win in the blue shirts, but the best team and the best team all season, and if he finishes in the Champions League, he has to, listen, he won't, Arne Slot quite rightly should win the Manager of the Year, but if he finishes in the Champions League spots, he will be so unlucky not to win Manager of the Year, Nuno. He's done an absolutely magnificent job with that group of players. The atmosphere will be incredible.
Does that add to the pressure that they are under? Was Chelsea playing away from home, or did Chelsea have more pressure because the expectation, you've said it, is on them?
No, the expectation's on them. Certainly the manager, because the manager knows what it means to them. I mean, this is the only game Liverpool lost for a very long time, wasn't it? They're going away there and they set the trap, the game plan. They've got the pace on wide areas. Elanga's been brilliant. Hudson-Odoi, when he's played. Morgan Gibbs-White's been a revelation. And the star man has been Chris Wood. I mean, what a season he's had. If he can emulate that season, he would wish he was like 5 years younger and he would be going for hundreds of millions of pounds.
You see, when you watch this, you see so many reasons why you would fancy Forest to win this game. The pace and attack that Forest have got, the points of attack that Forest have got. Elanga on the left, Hudson-Odoi on the right. In the middle, you've got the striker that Chris Wood, as you say. Chelsea don't have a striker because Nicholas Jackson, for reasons best known to himself, got himself sent off when they needed him most. Cole Palmer hasn't scored a goal from open play in something like 14 or 15 games. So as far as Forest are concerned, we've just had a little look at the attack, which for me is going to be decisive on Sunday.
And they're so solid defensively as well. I mean, they just soak it up. Murillo's been absolutely magnificent. Milenkovic is centre-back. Elliot Anderson, what a signing he's been from Newcastle. They've just got star men all over the pitch, but they're playing at the top of their game. But the top players, the best players, the Stardust players are in the blue shirts, but they need to turn it on.
What team talk do you give? You've been a manager on a final day, you've been a player on a final day. What team talk, if you're Nuno?
If I'm Nuno, I'm saying them tomorrow, the pressure is all on them. We've done our job. Yes, we want to be in the Champions League, of course we do. We don't just want to play another game. This is special for us. The crowd are going to be with us. We make it very, very... it's going to make it a nervy time for them. Make it very nervous for them Chelsea fans who come to watch, and all over the world they're watching. That he knows Maresca's eyes, his back of his head is going to be stared at by the board of directors and the money men who will give him £1.5 billion to spend, or the club. So he's expected to do something. Nuno really, as much as Marinakis is a tough taskmaster, he wants it. They're all on the same side. They're all on the same side. They're going into the Lions' Den there, Chelsea, and it's going to be very, very tough for them, let me tell you. But if you start giving them a leg up early, nice and solid, early on in the game, get to half-time, 0-0, it's perfect for us. Then they come out. Then Chelsea are open up and we'll catch them. with the pace of Elanga and the Hudson-Odoi and the Chris Wood. That is the game plan. If you give it away early, they can start playing, they can expressing themselves, and they've got better players than Nottingham Forest.
Just very quickly, if you're the Chelsea manager, what's their team talk? Well, it's completely different, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, his game plan is always the same, pretty much, and it's control. We need to take control of the ball, take it away from them. But they're quite happy because they're sitting ducks for Nottingham Forest because they want the ball. Nottingham Forest don't really. They want to counter when they get it. They're very aggressive the way they get it back, and when they do get it, they go to wide areas and they get it wide and they cross the ball into the box and they fill up that box. And they're very, very dangerous from set pieces as well, Nottingham Forest. The more I talk about it, the more dangerous I feel it is for Chelsea. I think Chelsea might have the quality to score, and Nottingham Forest might just equalise. I just think it's going to be a draw. I really do. I don't want to sit on the fence, but I just think it will go right to the death. Forest will be pushing at the end of the game. Certainly Chelsea will as well. Ears and eyes will be on other games around England, looking to see how opposition are getting on there and the teams what can challenge. Chelsea cannot rely on anyone else to do them a favour. They won't be doing that. No one will be doing them a favour. I don't see anyone doing it, like not Manchester United, for instance, will not do any favours to Aston Villa. Yeah. Aston Villa will win that game. I can't see the way I see Man United performing that Europa League final. I just see there's no way that they can win another football match.
Darren, what's interesting for me as well is the scrap element of it. I was at the Forest game against West Ham. Murilla went off on a stretcher at half-time. In the second half, he was there. He played. He was ready to fight. Ilanga's hands were bleeding at the end of the game. They played to 107 minutes and they were ready to fight. They did fight. They knew they had to win that. Is that another element where Chelsea are going to match them?
Julie, I think you're absolutely right. At this moment, you have to have warriors. People are ready to fight, put their bodies on the line. We know that maybe ill-advisedly, Taiwo Awoniyi did that, and obviously he ended up in a really difficult situation. But I also think that camaraderie is going to bind the players. In their subsequent game, they held up his shirt. Yeah. They are with him, but they are also determined to get there for him as well. And I think as far as the Forest team are concerned, that willingness to go now and fight for it's one game. And we've seen so often, haven't we? We saw it the other day with Spurs. One game to change your destiny, your era. And Forest have got that. But the individual players and their willingness to put their bodies on the line is really, really going to be decisive in this game.
The good thing for Nottingham Forest, Darren, is that they haven't got to do anything different to what they've been doing all season. That's that togetherness, the fight, the bodies on the line. They've been doing it. That's what's got them to where they are. Whereas Chelsea, if they can, the early part of the season, they were turning it on, they were playing free-flowing, they were getting the ball to Cole Palmer, who was absolutely on fire. Nicholas Jackson was he's not going to be there, going to have to find other options. The likes of Neto, the impressive players, Palmer has to turn up tomorrow, but they have to try and keep a clean sheet first and foremost. And it's going to be very difficult for them, I really believe that.
Tim's going to tune into the game tomorrow and find that there's no game. It's all on Sunday, don't forget.
It'll be quiet tomorrow.
Where is everybody?
And they all kick off at the same time to Manchester United. They have to win and hope results go their way to finish in the top 5. Despite United's dismal league form, Villa are still wary of their threats.
The greatness of Manchester United still being there. The great coach they have is still there. He did a fantastic job in Sporting Lisbon. Fantastic. And not 1 year, not 2 years, not 3 years. Consistency.
And Manchester City in third spot travel to West London to take on Fulham in their final match. A draw should be enough to see them qualify for the Champions League for a 14th season in a row.
It's a really tough game away, always have been. You know, the games we play against Fulham recently last year is always 2-1, 3-2, so tight. They have the incredible momentums, and there we won, but always in a tight game. So we play there to win the Premier Leagues because it was at the end of the season every time. I remember perfectly how tough it would be. Tomorrow we're in exception, but the situation is clear. So when you play the Champions League, you have to take a result there.
Yes, Tim. Pep also said tomorrow. Okay.
Happens to us all.
Right, City have their fate in their own hands. They obviously had a huge disappointment at the weekend, but then bounced back to beat Bournemouth. And so they really only need a draw.
Yeah, and they should get that draw as well. Fulham, they were defeated the other day. They are they're an uncertain team. You never quite know at this stage of the season, at the moment, which Fulham team is going to turn up. Whereas you know that at home, with the crowd behind them, firepower they've got as well, I think this should be easy for City.
Yeah, very little for Fulham to play for. You know, for months they've been talking about that points record and they finally got it against Brentford. And now, you know, it's the final game. They want to end off on a high, but City have more to play for.
Yeah, of course they've got more to play for. But I just believe that the Cottage is a tough place to go to. And I think Marco Silva and them group of players have definitely got something to play for because the opposition have. So I've always loved that. I like to be a party pooper. You know, I wasn't invited to this party, but I like to gate crash. I think this could be a difficult game for them. I agree with you, Darren. I think they'll get the job done. They'll either win or they draw. It'd be unthinkable for them to lose and to drop out of the Champions League spots. Like some Marmouche has been on fire. The goals he's scored recently are incredible. I think they've seemed to be nice and solid at the back. Rodri could be up for his first start, or at least he'll play like 45 an hour at that game, which is great news for Man City moving forward to the Club World Cup also.
Also, Tim, the sentimental aspect of De Bruyne's last game. Do players think about that?
Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, but he's had all that. He's had the send off now. He's had that against his home fans, but. Quite right. I mean, there should be a stand named after him. It's anything. I mean, this boy's incredible. I'd like to thank Kevin De Bruyne for being able to talk about him for so many years. He's the King Kev's exactly the right words for him. This guy's just one of the best midfield players we've ever seen in the Premier League, and I've seen a lot, and I've played against a lot of very, very good ones. But you know, I wouldn't want to play against this guy. You know, left foot, right foot, goals, vision, incredible. Not only his ability, but his demeanour, his aura. He's a great ambassador for any young player who wants to be in the Premier League. I just think he's just an incredible asset to the Premier League, and he'll be sorely missed if he leaves. I think every club, apart from the one he's at the moment, would like him.
They did give him quite a fitting send-off as well. Did City, De Bruyne, gave him that big send-off, and the family was all on.
Yes, indeed, and it was really befitting of a legend. 72 goals in 284 games, but that doesn't even tell half the story of his impact at Manchester City. He is the Gandalf of the Premier League, not just Manchester City. He's mercurial. He's a guy, and you've played, you know, when there are good players you play with and against, and there are great players, and then there are elite players. A guy who can find a pass when nobody else sees it. A guy who can score a goal when nobody else would attempt it. He is in that level. He is a Premier League all-time great, and I think that he makes strikers better because he makes their minds up with the quality of the pass that he provides for them. He lifts teams because he is able to impose himself on games when other players' levels might have gone down. He's got that level of expertise. It's funny, actually, a funny story. I interviewed him a couple of seasons ago ahead of the Champions League, last season, ahead of the Champions League final against Inter Milan. And he was telling me when he was a kid, the reason why you said left foot, right foot, he said he used to play football in the garden. He used to kick the ball against the fence, and his parents came out and said, "Please play with your left foot because you're destroying all of our plants and our flowers and stuff." And he said, "That's why I'm so good with my left foot, because I just kept using it every day because my mum and dad asked me to do it instead of using my right foot." And it kind of speaks to just how good he is in terms of the repetition, the dedication to his craft, and the hard work that he's put in that has placed him. You would say he's on the Mount Rushmore of the Premier League. There's one for you. If you're at home watching this, who would be on your Mount Rushmore of the Premier League? Because I think definitely De Bruyne would be up there.
Why I admire him so much is he hasn't had it all his own way. He's not fell off the Lionel Messi tree and suddenly been an outstanding player and someone's just willing to put him in their first team. I think it was Jose Mourinho at Chelsea. They rejected him. They rejected Mo Salah as well, by the way. And he had to go away to Wolfsburg and he had to prove his worth. He'd come to Man City and he's just found a home there. And he's had to fight his way into the team. He's recently as well, he's had to come out of the team when everyone thought surely the manager's going to play him now. No, he's had the injury problems which you pick up, which might dictate which club he actually ends up going to.
But you said something really interesting about any club would have him. When he did an interview a couple of weeks ago, he said, "It's the first time for a long time that I'm playing pain-free." And I think that speaks to why he's got so much joy in his game, so much confidence in his game as well. And I think you're right. If you're a Villa, if you're a Newcastle, you take a chance on him. Even if it's on a play as you pay as you play. Try saying that 3 times. Because I think if you do get him, even if he can play half the games, he makes your striker better. He decides tight games that could be the difference between you being in the Europa League and the Champions League.
I can see him at Bayern Munich. That's where I see him. I think they're crying out. I was there a couple of weeks ago. They're crying out for a midfield player who can see a pass. They really, really are. Vincent Kompany, obviously, there knows everything about him.
Just very quickly, if you are Bayern Munich, do you take Eze, young, firing, or De Bruyne, older, but obviously, well, decisive in a different way?
It's Bayern Munich, I'll take them both. I mean, they can afford to. He's Kevin De Bruyne. He's going to be, as much as he's not going to be on a cup of tea a week, you know, he's going to be on a few quid. It's Kevin De Bruyne. He's on a free transfer. Wow. Just take them both.
Shall we rein it back into the race for top 5 at Champions League? Is that okay? Let's look at the state of play. Every week...
He warrants it.
Absolutely. Every week, minds have changed, opinions have changed, verdicts have changed. This is it going into match day 38. And Man City, Newcastle, Chelsea, Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest, those are the teams that are still vying for those 3 places that are left. And, you know, City obviously favourites, Newcastle as well. But they have their fate in their own hands, I suppose that's why.
Yeah, I've always been of the opinion, for my money, that Villa would be in the top 4 because they can score goals. Unai Emery is just a magician. I mean, he's not quite Gandalf, but he's good. He's more Penn and Teller, but I think he's really, really good in terms of being able to inspire teams. 8 wins from their last 9 since the end of March for Aston Villa. That's the best record of any team in that period in the Premier League, and I think they will finish in the top 4. Plus, you're up against a Man United side in pieces.
Tim, 3rd, 4th and 5th, who do you think drops points? Because for Villa to make it, for Forest to make it, they have to win, but somebody has to drop
Chelsea
points.
and Forest.
Okay.
I think Chelsea and Forest draw.
Okay.
Yeah, and listen, incidentally, there's no birds in any of them crests.
Oh,
So here we are, one afternoon, 3 remaining Champions League spots and 5 clubs fighting over them. What we know already, Liverpool, Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur, the latter as Europa League winners rather than via league position, will represent England in the Champions League next season. What we will find out on Sunday, which of Manchester City, Newcastle United, Chelsea, Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest will join them in UEFA's Blue Ribbon Club competition. The Opta supercomputer is not particularly revelatory when the season has 1 round of matches to go, but it's still able to simulate those remaining 10 games 10,000 times, which is more than any human is going to attempt. And once all those calculations are over, the respected machine is backing the status quo, with City, Newcastle and Chelsea expected to remain 3rd to 5th, and in that order, too. Villa's inferior goal difference and Forest's ever so slightly lower points total are deemed to be the hurdles that will force those 2 into lesser UEFA tournaments next season. But a lot can change over a couple of hours game time on Sunday, so what is the mood at each of the 5 clubs as the final 90 minutes of the domestic top-flight season approach? To shed some light on the matter, here is the last of the Athletics weekly vibes checks with our club writers at each of the remaining top 5 contenders, plus a final reminder of why reaching the Champions League remains so important. How much would each team earn in next season's Champions League? Okay, this is it. Somebody could be going to Napoli next season, somebody could be going to, no offense, we're sure it's lovely, Lille. Tottenham's loser goes bust, alright, not quite, Europa League final win against Manchester United on Wednesday and developments in domestic leagues across the continent mean we now know 24 of next season's 36 Champions League sides. That figure will rise to 29 this weekend as the seasons end in Italy, Belgium and, of course, the Premier League.